All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we are going to talk about Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. So, like I said at the start of the show, I was flipping back and forth between the Giant game, the Bears game, and the Yankee game. Now, I didn't really get to see Caleb Williams because every time I tried, they wouldn't have the ball. I did see the rushing touchdown. Um, but I saw a whole lot of the Giants, and it was Daniel Jones' first game action, and I wanted to see how he looked. So the Giants, they came out on offense, and on the very first play of the game, he almost throws an interception. If the guy on the Texans has to catch that ball, but that ended up not happening. And Derek Stingley. I forgot. I didn't know who it was, but Stingley ended up getting a pick anyways. But he almost throws a pick. Giants go 3 and out. Texans get the ball, and the Giants defense, gets a stop. The Texans went for it on fourth down. Again, it's preseason, so you're just, you're gonna go for it. You see teams going for 2-point conversions, like the Eagles did the other night against the Patriots. So, the Giants defense makes a stop. Now, they're not in the best territory. They don't have the best field position. But, you're like, hey, Giants defense stopped the Texans. Look at that, no points. 2 plays, and Daniel Jones throws a pick six. And it's not like the Texans made a great play. It's Daniel Jones is, it's a play action, doesn't get rid of the ball. He's about to get sacked, and it would have ended up being a safety, and he tries to throw it away, but he ends up throwing a pick six. And that wasn't good. That was not good. And then on the next drive, the Giants are putting together a nice drive. Devin Singletary had a nice run. The Texans had a couple of Texans had a penalty, the Giants had a penalty. Jones hit Neighbors for 14 yards. Malik Neighbors is the real deal. There's no questions about that. Malik Neighbors is the real deal. He had a couple of nice catches in this game. Jones took off within ran for 12 yards. So the Giants were set up. They were, in Houston territory. And then Jones tried to complete a pass to Jalen Hyatt. And it was underthrown. And Derek Stingley picked him off for 2 picks now. And they still kept Jones in. And he completed a nice pass to Darius Slayton for 44 yards. They ended up getting a touchdown, and Devin Singletary scored. Final score ended up being 28-10. But you could say, well, he did that against the Texans' backups. But my thing is this. Let me just get this out of the way. Daniel Jones has not played a game since against the Raiders last year when he tore his ACL. What was that? Late October, whatever it was, October, November. So I'll give him that. This is his first game action in months. In almost a year. However, that pick six is inexcusable. If he ends up taking a safety there, so be it. But when you try to throw it away as you're falling down, and it ends up getting basically it's a walk-in touchdown, a pick six. That's what's going to get you in trouble. And that was not good. And, the second pick, that ball's got to be up higher. That Hyatt was, had Stingley beat. It's just it was underthrown, and he made a good play. Now, that was less egregious than the pick six, but still, it's, you know, that's why you have a lot of people that don't believe in Daniel Jones. And that's why I fall into that category. And I've said it, I want Daniel Jones to do well. I want him to show me and show other Giant fans that he is the guy. The problem is, it's 2024. He should have proved it to us in his second year. This is now year 6? Year 6. And he's making plays like that. Now, they kept him in. The Giants' intention was that he was going to play. Starters were going to play like most of the first half. Now, it doesn't help that. Now you wonder what would have happened if Drew Lock was active for this game, because the Giants only have 2 active quarterbacks right now, between Daniel Jones and Tommy DeVito. And Tommy DeVito wasn't any better. I mean, he didn't throw 2 interceptions, but Tommy DeVito did not play well either. So you do wonder if Drew Lock does play, if Drew Lock was healthy for this game, do they yank Daniel Jones after the pick six? Do they yank him after the second interception? Does he even get a chance to have that touchdown drive? We don't know. But that was tough. That was a tough watch. And when I was watching the game, as I am texting in my group chat, my sports group chat, that he almost threw a pick on the very first play. The pick six happens. I either just hit the send button or I'm about to hit it, the text. And he throws the pick six. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It was just, I really could not, I just could not believe that happened. But it's just, I am going to see him play week 1. I apologize for the background noise. But I'm going to see him week 1 when they take on the Vikings. Could be a long afternoon. It's possible. But I also think that the Giants' defense is going to be good. But you can't have this. You can't have it. And you know what? A lot of people were saying, even the Giants broadcasters, Bob Papa, Carl Banks, and Phil Simms, the offensive line was playing well. The offensive line has played well in these couple games so far. Daniel Jones actually had time to throw. But he was making mistakes. See, people give him a pass at times because the offensive line has just been, it's been a problem for years for the Giants. But now, if it's not a problem, and you got time to throw, and you're still turning the ball over, well, he's the problem. The quarterback's the issue. So it's tough. It's tough. And look, it's one game. However you feel about Daniel Jones, it is one game. But that was not good. That was not good. And Brian Daboll, just wanted to get into what he had to say on Jones' performance. He said that's what these games are for 2. some evaluation part of it, but obviously you have a plan going into it. It's a little bit different than, I would say, a regular season game where you're scheming and doing things like that. I wanted to make sure we had enough plays where we were throwing it down the field, which I was happy to see, because early on I'm like, oh yeah, here we go, the dump offs and all these quick passes. I wanted to see them push the ball down the field, and they tried, and they did. Jones connected with Slayton, but the Hyatt pass got intercepted. The pass to Hyatt got intercepted. It just I want to see the Giants offense create big plays, and I feel like they do have some receivers to do that, because Darius Slayton's a deep ball guy, Hyatt, and of course Malik Neighbors. I don't want to see these quick passes over the middle and towards the sideline and these checkdowns. I want to see the Giants offense push the ball down the field. And if Daniel Jones has time to throw, they can do that. And I think they have the receivers to do it. But yeah, so Daboll continues by saying, I wanted to make sure we had enough plays where we were throwing it down the field. Just said that. Giving opportunities to throw it down the field. Again, there were some good things, good to get him out there, and then a couple of things we'll learn from, and that's what these things are for. And Jones said, bad decision and a bad throw. I think in a situation like that, obviously you're being tackled in the end zone, so intentional grounding there is a safety. So just making sure you dirt throw it at his feet, so there's no chance of intentional grounding. Obviously can't take a sack there in the end zone. But he also said, I think overall got some things going in the second quarter and executed and moved the ball. I was happy with how we responded in the second quarter. And yeah, so he ended up finishing 11 of 18 for 138 yards and 2 interceptions. He said he feels good physically. He said felt really good and excited to be out there. Grateful for all the people who have helped me get to this point, all the doctors and trainers and the staff we have here who have helped me. It was fun to be out there. Didn't start perfect, like I said, but we got going and I feel good physically. And believe it or not, he still gives them the best chance to win out of the quarterbacks they have on the roster. Now, I think I did say that, maybe Drew Lock, has an opportunity to maybe take the starting job away from him. You got Tommy DeVito there. Look, if the Giants are going throughout this season and you have all three quarterbacks playing, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. And yeah, Daniel Jones did not look great. Drew Lock and his limited playing time did not look great. Tommy DeVito, you could argue, he probably looked the best out of all three so far in these two games, even though he didn't play well against the Texans either. So, out of the three, Daniel Jones does give them the best chance. So, it is one game, but it was like it's not like he threw one interception and like it wasn't like an awful performance, but it was probably like almost as worse as it can get with that pick six. If that pick six doesn't happen, if he just gets tackled in the end zone, okay, but the fact that pick six happened, that's not good. Like, that cannot happen. But they kept him in, and at least, if some people are going to say, well, they at least salvaged his performance by, them putting that touchdown drive together. But we'll see what happens. But let me know what you guys think about Daniel Jones' performance from over the weekend. What were your takeaways from it? So when we come back from our final break of the show, we will talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We'll talk about Brandon Arbery's 66-yard field goal that he made in the preseason. We'll talk about that to end off the show for today. So for one final time today, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.